anytime that you post anything about the importance of obedience to your parents and loving your parents and honoring your parents, it's going to, for some people hurt them because their relationship with their parents is different. And it's not the best. And sometimes there are even situations in which there is parental abuse. And all of these things come into play. And I want to first and foremost say, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for everyone that has struggled as a result of that is going through something with their parents, that maybe went through something with their parents and lost their parents and never had a chance to reconcile. Some people converted to Islam, and because they converted to Islam, they faced hardship at the hands of their parents. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of you, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you and comfort you and soothe you and give you the full reward of your intention to be at the service of your parents, even though it was an abnormal situation. Allahumma ameen. So I just want to sort of start off by recognizing that, yes, there are exceptions to this rule, and that's what I want to talk about tonight, inshallah ta'ala. Now, one of the tricky things about addressing a general audience is that sometimes you're going to hurt people that have very specific circumstances. And it is one of the most difficult things about giving a khutbah, even posting anything. And I just want to sort of remind everyone that when we read the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to the general normal circumstances, and the exceptions are highlighted either through the Book of Allah or through the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then of course elaborated upon by our Salaf, by the pious predecessors and the scholars that built upon what they left. So the generalities are always going to be there. The norm is always going to be there. And so as you're reading through the Quran, there's countless, reference to the importance of honoring our parents, even when they would tell us to do something as egregious as disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's still this constant emphasis on obeying your parents, loving your parents, honoring your parents, showing them kindness, lowering the wing of humility to them, not even saying uff to them, which would translate into even rolling your eyes at them or expressing any type of displeasure. All of this is emphasized throughout the Quran. And so Allah is addressing the normal circumstances here, not the exceptions to these rules. And that's the case, by the way, with marital relationships as well, right? Of course, there are some specifics that are given in regards to arbitration and inheritance and things of that sort. But for the most part, when you look at the Quran and the Sunnah, it's speaking to the norm, not the exception. And that can still be hurtful to someone who reads the norm and thinks that either I'm falling short of it, or maybe there's a sign of divine displeasure because I'm not able to live up to this because of my circumstances, which are shackling me. And there's a discussion that has to be had there. So I do want to sort of start off with a premise here. The premise is that the only relationship in which there is unconditional obedience is the relationship between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only relationship that exists in which there is unconditional obedience is the relationship between you and your Lord. Every relationship that comes after that, be it parent to child, leader to subject, spouses, children, siblings, employer to employee, all of the relationships that come after that have exceptions, okay? Now, there is no relationship after the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is more emphasized in the Quran and the Sunnah in terms of honor and obedience and love than the relationship of the parent to the child, right? وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. That your Lord has decreed that you worship none but Him and that you show excellence and kindness to your parents. So that is there, and you can't take that away. That's in the Quran, and that's something that's emphasized.